Hello, it is Tegan with Upcycling Adventures, and today the project that I have lined up is how to turn a ruined sheet or similar large piece of fabric into a rag rug. This is a great project as it doesn't really require very many resources or tools. There aren't that many skills, and the skills involved are pretty easy. The only downside is it is a project that's going to take you a little bit of time. So before we get going, I'll talk about what we need. So first of all, you're going to need a piece of ruined textile of some sort. An old bed sheet that maybe just isn't great anymore. This is a duvet cover that I got from a thrift store that I tried something out on and it got kind of ruined, and I over-dyed it, and then I kind of went for a splatter effect with some other type of dye, and it ended up looking like a murder scene. So I'm going to upcycle it into a rug. Anyway, so you need a piece of textile to upcycle that is large, like a bed sheet, a duvet cover. You could, if you had something smaller, you can use multiple types of material. I've done this before. You could do it with denim, but you would need a lot of jeans. So it just depends. And then you're gonna need some scissors. You're going to need a crochet hook. So this is optional, but I really recommend it. You're going to need a large crochet hook. This is a size Q. You could go even larger depending on what you want. A crochet hook and a needle and thread. So let me show you how to do this. First, I'm going to prepare this duvet cover so that I'm going to eliminate any bulky seams. I'm actually going to use just the front, the part that I ruined the most, to do this today. And then, so for even a bed sheet, you're going to want to take off the hem, the over bulky hem part and the seams to help prepare it for this next part. It will just make it a lot easier to rip. So I'm going to do that. Now we are going to tear the sheet into small strips, long, skinny strips. And you can tear instead of using scissors as long as you are working with a fabric that is woven. So if it's super stretchy, it's probably a knit, and it probably will not tear for you, which you can still do this project. You're just gonna have to cut long, skinny strips without tearing, which will take quite a bit longer. Unless you have a rotary mat, it could go quicker, but it still will take longer than what this is going to take. So I'm going to show you how to tear. It's very, very easy. So you're going to take your fabric and you're going to make a slit as wide as you want it. I've been using my fingers, so 3 inches, or 3 fingers, I should say, wide or across, approximately. This is all approximate. And then, once you have that slit, you just tear. And then you have a long strip of fabric. So, there will be strings. There will be a lot of strings. You could deal with them after each tear. I tend to just wait until I have all of them teared and I'm doing the next part, and I deal with them then. So it's up to you. So I'm going to show you this again a little closer up. You're going to take your scissors, you're going to cut, and then actually you can just keep cutting. I use my hand to measure instead of a ruler. So about 3 of my fingers wide is about how I'm doing my slits. And then you can actually just keep going. And once you feel good about your ability to know how wide it is, you don't even need to measure anymore. So you just make some slits along the edge of the fabric. And then you get to tear, which is probably the funnest part of this project. Just like you would tear open a bag or something. And then you get a strip. The next part, once you have a pile of strips, is going to be turning it into like a ball of yarn, of fabric yarn. And so this part, I am going to go close up again to show you, but it is very easy. You're mainly going to need the scissors and a strip, or your strips. You're going to take one strip, and this is the part where I deal with strings. If they start to bother me, I rip them off. Or you can trim them off with the scissors. I have both ends together here. I'm going to take and fold over. So essentially I have 4 layers. I have the ends here against the other side. I have 4 layers of fabric. And then I'm just going to snip. To create a hole. Essentially I'm just creating a little slit hole that that's completely contained. It doesn't snip out towards the end. Essentially that's what you do, is you create 2 holes, one at either end of your strip, grab your next strip, and you do the same. Lined it up. I lined up the 2 ends. And then I'm folding it over. I have 4 layers of fabric right here. And then just snipping to create a slit that that's completely contained. Once you have 1 cut or 2 cut, you're going to join them together with these 2 slits. You're going to take one, put it in the slit of the other strip, and then you're going to take all of this strip and insert it through the slit of the strip that you put through the original slit. Very confusing with the words, so I will give you a close-up, but it is actually very easy. And then I take the ends of both, kind of pull them, and then I pull together like this, and you get a good strong bond. And it's not as bulky as what a knot would be. So there you go. You could also stitch this together if you wanted to. You could certainly do that. I kind of enjoy this process. So I'm gonna show you this close up, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, I wanted to show you a couple of the more technical parts of creating a rag rug a little closer up with some contrasting fabric, and just to make it easier to see what's actually happening. So I have some different colored strips here. So this piece, you can see I've already cut strips into. This one I'm going to go ahead and cut strips into. So you can see I've just layered it. I have a fold here where there's 4 layers of fabric. Take my scissors and snip. Just a tiny snip is all you need. And now holes through both sides. So to join two strips together, it's pretty easy. So I'm gonna take this strip, take it and put it through this other strip. So you can see that. Okay, so now with the slit here on this blue one, I'm going to take the rest of the blue strip and put it through that hole. Once it's through, I'm going to pull all the way tight, and then I'm also going to pull the end of the gray strip through. So you can see here, it's a little tangled. Okay. You can see here, now the gray is going through the blue strip. The blue strip is going through the slit on the gray strip. The ends are opposite. And now I'm just gonna pull it together tightly. Okay, I'm gonna show you that one more time with contrasting fabric. Once again, the blue already has a slit. I'm gonna grab this bright green, fold it. This is not precision, not something we need to be precise about. I'm gonna fold it, cut my slits. You can see holes in both sides. Then take my green one, I'm gonna put it through the slit in the dark blue one. So now you can see it's through the slit in the dark blue one. Take the slit on the green one, and I'm gonna pull the rest of the green one through, including where the blue and green were connected on the blue slit. And then, so you can see what it looks like when it's loose. There's a slit on the green one with the blue one through it, the slit on the blue one with the green one through it, and then you just pull it together tight. And there you go. And then once you have it all joined, you just roll a ball by wrapping around your hands. You just keep building on that ball. And there's my green slit, ready to join another one. So, and then I'm gonna show you really quick also how to do a slit, or a slip knot to start crocheting with. All right, so go ahead, here's the end. I'm gonna lay the end, make a loop like this. So the end is over this other side. And then from the underneath, or from over, I should say, from over, I'm gonna pull it through. So it's adjustable. That's kind of the point. It's kind of an adjustable loop. The adjustable side being the longer side. So I'm gonna show that one more time. This is my end. I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna lay it over itself. This is where it's on top right there. Put my hand through, grab the other side of that, and pull it in. And then you have a slip knot. You can pull it a little tighter. There you go. It's a slip knot. Once you have the slip knot, I'm gonna show you really quick how to crochet a chain. Then stick your crochet hook into here, and this knot is making it a little trickier to see, but you're gonna grab your long end that's attached to probably your ball, and you're going to put it over the hook, and kind of twist it to pull it through that loop. If you keep your loop on the thicker part, or at least past the thicker part of your crochet hook, that will help make the loop on your hook big enough to pull the other loop through. So I'll show you that one more time. Put it over, and I'm going to bring it through. And there you go. That's a little trickier with fabric than yarn if you've never crocheted before, but it's certainly not impossible. Once you have a large strand, that's a chain, a crochet chain, you can start sewing it together into your rug. You can see I'm using a clip to help me hold things together. This was where I started. So I took about a hand's width and started by sewing those together, but you could start by just going with the circle. So this is very easy. This is the back side of my rug, and it's hard to see, my thread does match, but I'm just doing a whip stitch joining them together. First, I'm going to thread my needle. And I have both layers of thread all the way at the end till it's tied. 2 strands of thread that we're working with, we want to be nice and strong. This is just all-purpose thread. You could use something heavier duty if you wanted to. This is what I had. So all you're gonna do, you want to keep it flat because it's gonna be a rug. I mean, you could make this 3-dimensional, make something else, I don't know. But see where it needs to be joined? Doesn't need to be pretty. This is the back side. You're just gonna go through both sides and then go back to where you started. You're just gonna keep doing that. Nope. Just a simple whip stitch to join these together. So it's nothing fancy, you just want to keep going, making sure it's flat. And then, as you need to, as your thread gets shorter, you can tie a knot and then start with more thread. I don't recommend making your thread too long because it will get tangled. If you haven't done a lot of hand stitching, you may not know that. So you probably don't want it any longer than, say, from the length of your arm, even though you may be tempted to go longer. So that is that. And then you just keep going until your rug is the size that you want. This is not the size I want yet. You can make trivets, coasters, I guess. Yeah. Just keep going. All right, I hope that was helpful. I do have some tips. Number 1, have patience. You can seriously wear out your hand and wrist by crocheting with a large hook, and yarn, especially fabric yarn, there's a lot of friction. So just take your time, just do a little bit at a time. Expect this project to take a while. Expect to just work on it bit by bit, a little bit every day, because it will wear out your wrist and hand otherwise. I mean, you can build up a little more endurance as you go, but especially if you've never crocheted with a large hook. Another suggestion, sometimes when you're ripping the fabric, a lot of fibers can go in the air depending on how old your textile is, the fabric you're working with is. So sometimes I'll wear a bandana or something over my mouth and nose because I'll be sneezing and coughing a lot because there's a lot of fiber in the air, which isn't ideal. So consider air ventilation coverage, I guess, or doing it outside or something. I know some of the tutorial wasn't overly clear. So if you do, I will try to put some links in the comment box below for some of the more specific techniques. So you can maybe see diagrams, see some more stuff up close. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you will consider hitting the thumbs up, giving it a like. If you really enjoyed this video, maybe you'll consider subscribing to Upcycling Adventures. I'd love for you to subscribe. And all right, that's it. Bye.